Metal Gear Survive takes place in an alternate universe called D-Tay, where some crazy stuff's gone down. While this game's labeled as a spin-off, your best bet is to think of it as a different game altogether. Those looking for a challenging survival game will find it here, because the baddies are brutal and the world is harsh. So to help you gear up, here are 5 tips for Metal Gear Survive. Tip number 1, the basics. This is a survival game, so you'll have to deal with real-world survival aspects like hunger, thirst, and health. Finding food and water will be your top priority since you literally start off starving to death. Don't drink the dirty water when you can help it, but if you have to, try not to drink too much of it at once. Otherwise, it'll increase your chances of getting sick. Cooked animal meat will be your main source of food, but certain plants will do in a pinch. Tip number 2, untough guy. You'll be pretty weak through the beginning of the game, and the zombie-like baddies will take you down in a couple of hits. So until you've built up your health, gear, and weapons, play stealth. And if the zombies do find you, especially a large group of them, just run. Get to higher ground and lay down. You likely won't be able to fight them all off. Plus, fighting them will only draw more to you, so play smart. By the way, using the menu button to bring up your iDroid won't pause the game. So if you're looking for a break mid-scavenge or battle, use the view button to bring up the game's actual pause menu. Tip number 3, scavenge all the things. This should be an obvious tip considering this is a survival base building game. The optional side missions are great for gathering valuable resources and recipes, and so are the co-op salvage missions. Just keep an eye on how much you're carrying. Too much will inhibit your movement speed. Another thing to keep in mind is that when you die outside of your base, you'll lose your progress as well as any materials you've collected, so don't go too long without a visit home. One of the more useful game features is the ability to stamp your map. This lets you mark your map with symbols to help you keep track of where certain plants can be found, where different animals will spawn, or spots you find on a time-sensitive mission that you'd like to loot later. Tip number 4, craft night. Crafting is a super important part of this game. A lot of items can be upgraded, modified, or broken down for resources. Know what's available to craft at each of the stations in your base. If you're looking to build something specific, note the items needed as well as station requirements, and make sure you're upgrading the stations too. Speaking of in-base stations, Virgil AT9 is crucial for managing gameplay, co-op, and for saving or exiting the game. Virgil also gives you missions every day and week. Complete them for extra supplies and rewards. Repairing goes hand in hand with crafting. Like most survival games, your gear will break down with use, so make sure everything's in tip-top shape before an outing. Another thing you'll want to do before a mission is to craft items you can use in the field. Items like lures and fences will let you put some much-needed time and space between you and your enemies. Tip number 5, that sparkle though. Keep your eye out for lights, sparkles, and shiny stuff. Sparkling or shiny items can be scavenged, while lights will help you with the dust zone. The dust zone can be tough to navigate once you're in it, so if you get lost in the haze, look to the sky for the bright green lights of your base to find your way home. While Metal Gear Survive is a simpler game than previous Metal Gears, if you're a fan of the survival genre and you're looking for a real challenge, you may want to give it a try. The introductory hours are tough, but the game really opens up after that, and successfully building, developing, and defending your base will be a big part of gameplay. At the end of the day, it all comes down to one thing: survive.